If you're over 50 and you're thinking about your future and your income or retirement, I wanted to say something clearly. You may not need to start over. And I know a lot of people think that, but you may need to just start looking at your experience a little differently because a lot of people reach this stage of life and quietly feel like they're missing something. Maybe they didn't save enough, or maybe their job did not offer the retirement they hoped for, or maybe inflation, bills, layoffs, family responsibilities changed the plan. And when you look online, it seems like everyone is saying the same thing: start a brand new business, learn complicated skills, or be louder, chase trends, or post constantly and sell something you don't care about. And that really gets annoying, right? And a lot of adults nearing retirement, that doesn't feel freeing, and it feels exhausting because most people are not looking for more noise, right? They're looking for a path that makes sense, a path that respects where they are and where they live, not ask them to erase who they are and become someone else completely different. That is what I want to talk about in this video because I don't believe your experience is behind you. I believe it may be the very thing you can build from. Now, I want to be honest. Building income online is not magic. It doesn't happen overnight, and everyone's path will not look the same. But if you have worked, solved problems, helped people, raised families, led teams, served customers, managed responsibilities, learned from mistakes, or walked through difficult seasons, then you have something. You may not have named it yet. You may not have packaged it. You may not know who it could help, but that doesn't mean it has no value. A lot of people dismiss what they know because it feels ordinary to them. They say, that's just my job, and that was just life, and that is nothing special, because sometimes what feels ordinary to you is exactly what someone else needs help understanding. The experience you take for granted may be the thing another person is trying to figure out right now. And that's where the path begins. Not with hype, not with pressure, not with pretending to be someone else or being an expert in something you barely understand. It begins with asking, what do I already know? And what problems do I already know how to help solve? And what have I learned that can make someone else's path easier? That is a very different starting point, because starting over says, forget what you know. Starting from experience says, let's organize what I already have. And that is the shift. When you start from experience, you're not chasing someone else's dream. You're not copying a brand, a business model because it looks exciting online. You're looking at your own life and asking, where's the usefulness? The usefulness might come from your career. It might come from leadership. It might come from a hobby. It might come from caregiving. It might come from ministry. It might come from managing people, fixing things, teaching others, solving problems, or guiding someone through something you already have lived. The point is, not every experience becomes a business. Experience deserves to be examined before we assume that there's nothing to offer. That is where clarity comes in. Before you build a course, before you start a community, before you worry about content, before you think about technology, you need clarity. Clarity about who you can help, clarity about the problem they have, clarity about the outcome they want, clarity about a simple path you can guide them through. That is why I talk about turning experience into clarity first, because confusion makes everything feel harder. When your idea is unclear, technology feels overwhelming, content feels forced, and your offer feels awkward. And the people you want to help may not understand what to do. But when the idea becomes clear, things get simpler. You can explain it, you can create around it, you can build a small community around it. You can use AI to organize it. You can create simple lessons from it, and you can start helping people one step at a time. And that is the path I believe many adults over 50 need. Not a louder path, a clearer one. Now, I know some people hear the words online income and immediately they think, this is not for me. Maybe you don't want another camera. Maybe the online world feels like you don't belong to it, or it's for younger people. You know how it goes. I understand that. But I want you to consider something. You do not have to become a different person to use online tools. You can use tools like AI, Skool to support what you already know. AI can help you organize your thoughts. It can help you turn your experience into a clearer language. It can help outline lessons, posts, and ideas. School, Skool, can give you a simple place to gather people, teach, and build community. The tools are not the foundation. Your experience is. The tools help organize it. They do not replace it. That is why this path is different from chasing the latest online trend. The goal is to become useful in a way people can understand. It sounds simple, but it matters. People don't join communities just because it has a lot of information. They join because they feel understood. They join because someone can help them make progress. They join because the path feels clear enough to follow. And if you have lived through something, worked through something, or helped solve something, you may be closer than you think. The first step is not build everything. The first step is identifying what you already know that could help someone else. So here's a simple question I want to ask you to sit with. What is the problem you understand better today because of what you lived, worked through, or learned? Not 10 problems, not a perfect business idea, just one problem, one area where you can say, I understand this. I've been through this. I've helped with this. I know how to explain this. That may be where your path begins. And once that begins, the next step is learning how to shape it into something useful. A clear message, a simple community, a basic offer, a few helpful lessons, content that attracts the right people without pressure. That is what Retire Ready with James is built around. Helping adults 50 plus turn their life experience into a simple online path using AI and Skool without starting over, without chasing hype, without becoming someone they're not. Because after 50, I don't believe the answer is to erase the path. I believe the answer is to build from it. So, no, you may not need to start over. You may need to slow down, get clear, and finally see the value in what you already know. Start there. Start with your experience. Start with one problem you understand. Start with one person you could help and build one step at a time. If you want help walking through this process, I have a free community where you can begin with clarity first. The link is in the description. Start with what you know. Build one step at a time. Retire more ready.